Our tour will be starting in 1 minute. Good afternoon and welcome to our virtual tour of the Los Trampas campus. My name is Sandra Cockrell and I am the Director of Philanthropy with Los Trampas. I'm so excited you could join us again today for the tour. I know it's been just a short 3 weeks since our last one, but I will tell you so much has changed in that time. Just want to go over a couple of housekeeping items this afternoon before we begin. Our tour this afternoon will last about 30 minutes, and we do appreciate all comments and questions. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a tab that says Q&A. Simply provide your comments or your questions there, and I assure you we will answer all of those questions yet this afternoon. We are recording our tour this afternoon, so a little bit later on today, you will receive a link in your email that you can share with friends or family. Also, for the first time this month, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, so you will see us there as well. Our tour guide this afternoon is our very own Dan Hogue, our executive director here at Las Trampas. And he has braved the chilly weather and everything going on campus to show us all of the new and exciting changes that are out there. Our hosts today are actually Mike and Connie Collier, our beloved co-chairs of the Capital Campaign Committee, and they will be broadcasting from home this afternoon. We also have a very special guest joining us this afternoon, Amy Parlett. And I will let Mike and Connie share a little bit of Amy's story and let her share that with you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to toss this over to Dan and he'll get started with our tour.
Thank you, Sandra, and hi, everybody. Here I am broadcasting straight from the campus site, and we're so grateful to be coming to you today on this global day of giving called Giving Tuesday. In 2019, Giving Tuesday raised nationally $1.9 billion, and online giving alone grew by 28% last year. And we are most grateful for our donors who support Las Trampas today and every day throughout the year. Our fifth tour today will give you an overview of the changes since the last few weeks. While it's only been like 3 weeks since the last one, as Sandra said, so much has changed. I mean, if you recall last time, we were just starting to get the ceiling stuff in, but now if you look behind me, you can see up above that the plywood is in for the roof. And if you look here at our slide, on the slide, I think one of the great things that we have is our campus all the way around us. This slide here, we'd like to show you a rendering of our new building. And the slide that you see there, right there, that is one of our classrooms. And actually, I'm in that classroom right now. This is what this classroom looks like right now. And what you see on your screen is what the classroom will look like. So as you can see, the classrooms have very large and bright and very welcoming windows in there. And the individuals that we serve who are non-ambulatory or have ambulatory issues are able to actually walk around and move about that space. And once our new building is open, we're actually going to be able to serve an additional number of individuals who are currently on our wait list. So we hope to actually increase the number of folks that we serve by 40%. All of our classrooms have large windows so we could take advantage of the beautiful environment that we have. It's one of the greatest things about this campus. It's so peaceful, and if you can see behind me, and I know the sun is just in the wrong place, but right behind me here, we never got a beautiful view like this with the old campus of what the creek actually looks like. And it's just such a tranquil place for the people that we serve. And these windows take advantage of natural light, and along with our full spectrum adjustable lighting system and acoustic modifications, it makes for an environment that's conducive for learning without those unnecessary sensory distractions that often affect people with developmental disabilities or autism. Oh, and look at that right there. Those are our windows actually sitting in Turkey right now, getting ready to be shipped out to us. And we'll go to no lengths. I mean, even Turkey, to get a really good deal and make sure that this project stays within budget. So I'm just taking a look at my notes here. You can see here the walls of the second story going up. So this was actually happening at the last time. And if you look around behind me now, you can actually see most of those walls are up. And the second floor, which is accessible by 2 elevators and a stairwell, will contain several classrooms, our board community meeting / training room, and our program offices. So you really know you're in a construction zone when you start seeing all of the scaffolding going up. And that, you can see on the scaffolding that they're really starting to build in and put up the exterior walls. And we've actually got a lot of the fireproof gypsum board going up on the building, because fireproofing is so important. We looked at everything about this building: safety, making sure that it's accessible, making sure that it meets the needs specifically of people with developmental disabilities. And as you can see, Las Trampas is always a fun place to be. It's a fun place for the participants that we serve, our staff, and as you can see, it's even a fun place for our construction workers. I mean, you know, it's all about the spirit of Las Trampas, and it's really contagious here. And we love the fact that it's a joyous place. It's just truly is a joyous place. So at this time, I want to turn this over to our fabulous Capital Campaign Committee co-chairs, Mike and Connie Collier. Mike and Connie. Hey,
Hi.
Oh,
Are we
there you
here?
are. Hi, how are you?
We're good.
Good to
We're
see
at
you
home.
virtually. Yeah, lucky you. I'm wearing my flannel because it's cold out here today. I also understand that we have a very special guest today.
Yes, we do.
Parlett. And I will turn this over to you to talk with Amy. I really look forward to hearing from Amy.
Well, thanks, Dan. As usual, a great tour. Nobody can upstage you when it comes to enthusiasm about the new campus. So, Amy, we're so glad to have you here today.
In her backyard.
In her backyard, her beautiful backyard. She's joined our capital campaign and been very generous with her time as a volunteer for us. And believe me, as a volunteer in the community for years. She was chair of the LPI Foundation for Lafayette Schools, as well as others. And
many organizations. Amy's been involved in many things. We're so happy to have you.
yes.
Well,
So
I'm very excited to be joining you today, just because Las Trampas has quickly become a very passionate project of mine. So happy to be here.
Good. Well, how did you become involved in Las Trampas?
So my connection with Las Trampas really began with my son, Adam. And my son, Adam, is 18 years old, and he has a very rare genetic disorder and has a lot of special needs, and has ever since he was born. And currently he just finished at Aquiles High School last spring, and he is currently in the high school district's transition program. And if you're not familiar, the school district is kind of covers educational needs from age 3 to age 22. And so Adam's in this last phase, and as he's been growing, it was comforting to know he's kind of covered until he's 22, but it was very scary to know or to think about after he became an adult and what he would be doing, how he would be spending his day. So I knew in my mind, my husband and I knew that we would look into a day program for him, but we hadn't even gotten to that point when in September of 2019, I happened to read a great article in the La Miranda Weekly, and it was all about the new facility at Las Trampas. And I got really excited because this article not only talked about the project, the upcoming project, but also kind of described the types of participants that were served at Las Trampas. And that was something else that I wasn't sure, because each day program services a different population. And Adam is nonverbal and he's non-ambulatory. He uses a wheelchair. And so after reading that this seemed like it could be a good place, I was like, oh, we need to find out some more. So luckily I happen to know Kathy Merchant, who's on the Capital Campaign Committee. And so I met with Kathy and she told me a little bit about the program. And then she took me and introduced me to Dan Hogue, the executive director. And we had a wonderful meeting and learned so much about what goes on at Las Trampas. And the more and more excited I got, and my husband was excited about it. Oh, and we also went to this goodbye event that they had at the old facility and had some renderings of what was going to be happening. And the whole thing was just really inspiring. And so we, thought it was a good opportunity to make a financial contribution for the new facility as well as get involved. And so then when invited, I joined the Capital Campaign. You know how when you are excited about something, you find yourself talking about it a lot. And I found myself telling everybody that I ran into around town, I've been just joined this new, or I would say, hey, have you seen the new facility that's being built down at Las Trampas? Do you know about this? And so I just was, felt like I could bring some awareness to the project. So I'm happy to help out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, and we love the networking that you've done. I mean, you have people well beyond who we already had contacts with. So
yeah. Well, Amy, we're so happy that, you're passionate, like, you have a son and we have a grandchild. So it gives us, really the enthusiasm, to carry on and to complete this task, this very large task. Amy, what do you think the new campus will mean to Lafayette and the greater community around us?
Well, I think it's actually really is a big deal to have this new facility, because I think because it's tucked away on that trail, and because it had been, the old facility was needed some new love and just some attention. A lot of people didn't really.
Boy, did it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of knew it was there, or maybe had heard about it, but didn't really understand what went on at Las Trampas. And I mean, even I, after living here for 20 years and with a son with, a disabled son, it was not something that I really knew too much about. So I think with this new project, that's a brand new building, state of the art, it's going to bring a lot of attention and awareness to the community. And I really just think that is super valuable, because I think that a lot of times people don't really, or haven't really given much thought to how disabled adults spend their day. And this is a great example of the types of services they, are able to provide at Las Trampas, and it just is very inclusive into the community. So I think it's fantastic.
And I remember you saying to us that you love Lafayette, you're going to stay here, this is your home. And so that's another reason why it's so great that Adam has a place in Lafayette to go to every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the fact that, it was a real big deal. I mean, he's grown up here, he's lived his whole life in Lafayette, and we've been here, and a lot of people around town know him, and it just makes sense as part of the community. When participants are out, either whether they're walking on the trail or going on an outing around town, I mean, people can recognize the participants because they're part of the community. And I think that's real valuable.
Yeah. That's great. Oh,
wonderful. Our day program and all of our programs offer sort of wonderful opportunities for our disabled participants to grow as much as they can, as much as they're able to. And I believe, and from hearing the stories and seeing the campus, our participants look forward to coming to the campus. It's routine for them, it's predictable, it's consistent. But in addition, one thing that sometimes gets overlooked is the fact that our program provides something for the family during the week, where not that you're burdened by your son, but you then have a chance to see him enjoy what he's going off to do. You can take care of some things at home that otherwise you might not have been able to. And from that perspective, how does that fit in terms of the new campus and what's being offered and Adam's participation?
Oh, yeah, it's extremely valuable. I think a program like this that exists really provides, gives the participants a purpose to their day. It gives them not just something to do, but actually something where they can learn and where they can enjoy things, where they have social interaction with the other participants and with the staff. I mean, I kind of envision it. It's almost like a home away from home. And I do see it as kind of continual learning. It's kind of a lifelong school in a way, because it provides these opportunities, whether it be in the cooking classroom or a music therapy or, dance class or whatever it is that they're interested in taking. It's giving them so many fabulous opportunities. And yes, and as a result, it does assist the families of these adults tremendously.
Yeah. That's great. Is there anything else? I mean, it's nice to hear about Adam. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Adam that you haven't said?
Not so much. I could show you. Well, I think probably some people, I show you a little picture of him here as I talk. You can just see his little face. He is a very happy, easygoing, and very super patient person. And even though he is nonverbal and non-ambulatory, he is just a happy guy. And his challenges really do not slow him down as far as enjoying life. And so that's why I know he will enjoy this. He's always enjoyed school and being around people. He's a very social guy. And I just know that Las Trampas will be a great fit for him because he'll really enjoy that.
Great.
Yeah,
Well,
that's so important. And that's awesome that our new facility is there for you guys.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
And we appreciate you being here and sharing your story, because everybody has a story to tell,
Yep.
So thank you, Amy.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Back to you, Dan.
What a wonderful conversation. I can't be more thrilled to have such wonderful people who really understand the needs of people with developmental disabilities on our committee and who have a passion about it and a personal connection. So I really thank Connie, Mike, Amy. Amy, we really look forward to having Adam join us as part of the Las Trampas family, so we can actually help to support him in his learning and his endeavors and provide those community inclusion opportunities and all of that socialization that he thrives under. And also, Amy, thank you so much for your hard work on the committee and being a member of our family as well. And everybody, this is what we're working towards. You can see the picture there. This is what we are actually working for, a unique, accessible, and state-of-the-art building to better serve people with unique abilities and the community at large, because this isn't just a place about the people that we serve. This is a place about our community, where we can educate people about people with disabilities, and that we can educate staff from other programs about people with disabilities. And it's really sort of a hub where we go out into the community, because it's all about community inclusion for us. So only a few short months ago, we needed to raise $1.3 million to complete this project. And with your support, we've closed that gap to just over $700,000 mark. So it's still a little bit of a stretch for us. So on this day of giving and in the month of giving, please consider a gift to this campaign so we can close that gap, not just for the financial gap, but the gap that remains to full community inclusion for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So if you have any questions about making a gift, you can contact our Director of Philanthropy, Sandra Cockrell. You heard her earlier, or you can contact myself directly. Our information is on the slide. Or you could go to our website, www.lostrampas.org, which is under construction. Brand new, beautiful website coming along with a brand new, beautiful building very soon. So at this time, I know that we probably have some questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Sandra. Sandra, what questions do we have?
Well, hi, Dan, again. We do have a few questions. You know, one of the things that Amy mentioned is she talked about our original building needing a little bit of love.
That's an understatement.
We have
Yeah, I think the answer is dynamite.
well, yes. But one of the questions is, when was the original campus built? And I think, you know, maybe Dan, one of the things we talk about is the rain, and you might want to share that story with our folks.
Yeah, well, first let me answer the question. The original campus was built in 1968 after operating for 10 years as a residential school for children with developmental disabilities here in a couple of bungalows and a very large classroom building that they had at the time. And then they built at that time what was a state-of-the-art facility. But again, it was built for children, and it was built as a residential facility, sort of like a mini institution. And services for people with developmental disabilities have come a long way since then. And I think it's something that the Lafayette community should be extremely proud of. The fact that there has been services specifically for people with developmental disabilities in this community since 1958. And actually, prior to that, 1938 is when Helen Lucas started services here as her own school, and then it was the families that got together and when she got ill that started Las Trampas to keep things going. I can't remember what the other part of that was.
We were
The rain.
talking
The
other
rain.
day about the rain.
Yeah, so I know yesterday when I was here, somebody had asked me, you know, well, is that roof good? Yeah, Connie, you asked it. Is that roof going to be done before the rain comes?
Yeah, I said, now that there's a roof on overhead, is this going to interfere with the rain that's coming? And your answer was hysterical.
Yeah, well, so it's going to protect some of it for a while and so forth, and anything that is fixed by or affected by the weather will be fixed, but it can't rain inside here any more than it rained inside of the old buildings. It was pretty bad. You know, we had one classroom that was an art classroom, and everybody did art on the perimeter of the room, and in the middle of the room was a bucket. And that's just years of underfunding and not being able to take care of the building. And the building design was flat roofs. So we have a big, if you see above me, this is an actual angled roof. So we're not going to have that problem. It's also going to be a steel roof. So we also looked into materials specific to this building to ensure that it's going to be around for a very long time and require very low maintenance.
And I do remember, Dan, one of the first things you told me when I joined Las Trampas was, don't be surprised if you see the individuals we serve walking inside with their umbrellas.
Yeah.
I understood why. So
it wasn't that bad. We would always take care of the leaks as they popped up, but it was unfortunate that it seemed like a new leak was popping up every rainstorm.
So one of the other questions we have, Dan, and I think you always do a great job when we get this question, is what are the differences between Las Trampas and other programs that serve intellectual or individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities?
Well, I'd say what's unique about Las Trampas is, you know, I think Las Trampas over the years has gone through many of the changes that the industry has gone through. You know, going from a very secluded and institutional style into community integration, and now we're moving towards a community inclusion. And what's different is also over time, we found that there was a real need to serve people who had more health issues and more severe physical disabilities, needed more care, and who were more on the moderate to profoundly impacted levels of developmental disability. And we've really sort of built our niche around that. That doesn't mean that we are not exploring the ideas for those that, and I hate the term, but considered more high functioning. But our programs are really about serving those that have the most need within a community that has extreme needs.
Okay. And then for those that are joining us for the first time, Dan, somebody wanted to know, when did this project begin? And what is the anticipated date of being open in the new facility?
Well, you talk about when did this project begin? I became the executive director here in October of 2011. And in my mind, even though I wasn't hired for it, when I did a tour of the campus, I thought, we have some work to do. And for me, in my mind, the wheels started turning then and the project started then. But we really started delving into it in about 2014, looking at our options and how we were going to move forward. And the actual construction on this started in January of this year. So if you, January, that meant starting the hazardous material removal in some of our buildings, because yes, they were built in the 60s. And they didn't know about a lot of that stuff back then. That started with that. Plus, we also had a lot of time to actually get our temporary relocation space and get that up and running. And then as soon as that got up and running and was ready to go, COVID hit. And that's when we finally were able to clear the campus and start with demolition. So if you figure March, April is when things really started rolling, to now, see behind me, now we've come a long ways, baby.
We really have, for sure. It looks amazing. I think we have time for one more question. And somebody asked, is any of the costs being paid for with government funds? You might want to talk a little bit about the funding we do receive, Dan, and what that's used for.
So the funding that we receive is through the Regional Center of the East Bay, which is a state mandated private nonprofit, but they're also funded from the California Department of Developmental Services, which also receives funding from the federal government under Medicaid waiver. So ultimately, our programs are operated off of government funding. However, when it comes to this particular project, we chose the route not to go with government funding because that really increases the cost of the project. We're still getting the same exact building with contract, and it negates our ability to negotiate with contractors and to get in-kind donations. And we've gotten a lot of in-kind donations. I mean, our contractors, our architects, just amazing the amount of work that they put in and what they're giving to us. That's what we call in-kind or gratis. I'm forever grateful to this team, forever grateful. And we wouldn't have been able to do that if we had actually received government funding to do this project. So we've really relied on some of our assets to make this happen, you know, and also we've relied on the kindness of all of our donors. And of course, we do have a loan that we have taken out on this project of about $4 million.
Okay, and one last question that we do have that just popped up is, what is happening with the participants since we cannot be in that building? And of course, we can add the COVID piece to that as well, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we provide supported and independent living services as well as adult residential services. So those folks that we serve in those particular programs, some of which do attend our day program, we're providing in-person direct services in their homes or in our residential facilities. Those are very small 4-bed residential facilities. However, for most of the folks that are in our day program, and let me just do a shout out to them because I love them and I miss them and I think about them all the time. And I will tell you, it's awful walking into a building every morning and not seeing their faces. Okay, I'll get a little misty here, but right now we're doing as much as we possibly can by providing remote services. A lot of classes happening via Zoom. Plus, we believe in person-centered approaches. So we are looking at everybody's individual needs and trying to customize supports throughout this entire process in their homes by delivering materials, self-guided materials, self-guided activities that they can do, and lots of constant, frequent calls and check-ins. I think, there's been some talk about, well, it's, sort of an easy time for you. In actuality, this is probably one of the toughest times for us, not just emotionally, but we're having to reinvent a lot at this point and put in a lot of time in the developing of our curriculum in multiple different facets, whether it's self-guided materials or whether it's Zoom classes or whether it's purchasing activities for individuals, lots of phone calls, and our staff have been absolutely amazing at that. And we can't wait to see everybody in person though. We just can't wait. So hoping vaccines come in soon, that we're able to do this, and I'm anticipating by the time this building is done, we're going to be able to return here, which is super exciting.
Well, thank you, Dan. That is the end of our questions. I want to thank, of course, Mike and Connie and Amy for their time today and sharing. As always, you guys have such amazing stories in your family. Thank you for sharing those with us. And also just mention happy holidays. Our next virtual tour will not be until January 5th. So hopefully everybody will stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful holiday.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
And thank you for tuning
year.
in, for sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.